Number 21. Which hormone stimulates milk ejection in humans? A. Prolactin. B. Oxytocin. C. FSH. That's the follicle stimulating hormone, or the luteinizing hormone, which is the LH. Now, during mothers, when mothers give birth, normally this milk production is caused by prolactin. Now, most people might think that prolactin, because there is lactin, and anywhere they know that anywhere they see lac means lactose, means milk. So immediately they will just choose this prolactin. But no, prolactin is only for the production of milk. Production of milk. Then the one that, but in this question we have milk ejection. That means because that milk can be produced, but it will not come out. It's very possible. So there's another hormone that must be secreted for that particular milk that's been produced by the prolactin to now, be secreted, and that is where oxytocin will now come in. It is now oxytocin that is for that milk ejection. These other ones, they don't have anything to do with milk, although they are female hormones, but they don't have anything to do with the production of milk. So answer is option B, the oxytocin. Number 22. In a monohybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio in F2 generation is what? Now, when you see this kind of question, this is a crossing question. Now, this is how you are meant to attempt it. Now, when you hear, let's first deal with this monohybrid. Now, when something is monohybrid, we know that we have to look at something that has only dominant and only recessive. So let's just use that. Let's use a key, because we have to have a key. Let's say we have AA. We'll use this AA as dominant. We use the small letter AA as the recessive. Now, this is what they call monohybrid. Now, we are going to cross this 2 times. Why are we crossing 2 times? Because they are asking for the F2 generation. As if they're asking us for this F1 generation, we just cross it. After we cross it, that's our answer. But they're asking us for the F2 generation. So that means we are going to cross the offspring that we saw in F1. Let's do that. Now, that's capital letter AA with small letter A. Now, if we cross that, we get capital A and small letter A, another capital letter A and small letter A, another capital letter A and small letter A, and another capital letter A, small letter A. So here we have 4, heterozygous AA, but although we can say that this A is still dominant. So we have 4. Now, they are asking us for the F2 generation. Now, that F2 generation, this is the F1. Now, to get F2, you have to cross the offsprings. So, since they are all the same, we cannot take any of them and cross. That's capital letter A, small letter A, with another capital letter A and small letter A. That gives us AA in capital letter A and small letter A, capital letter A and small letter A, and AA in small letter. Now, that is 2 of this AA homozygous, then 2 heterozygous of this AA, and 1 recessive. Now, that will now bring us to genotypic and phenotypic ratio. Now, when something is genotypic ratio, just like genotype, now it's talking about genetic makeup, while phenotypic is talking about what we can see with our eyes, not genetic makeup, but what we can see. Now, let's say that capital letter A is for tall, while small letter A is for short. Now, we can say that in the genotype, we can say 1 ratio Y. 1 is homozygous, then 2 are heterozygous and one is homozygous recessive. So if we ask for the genotypic ratio, it will be 1:2:1. But they're asking us for the phenotypic, which means that what are we going to see? Now this AA means that they are tall. This capital letter A and small letter A, it also means that they are tall. Why? Because this capital letter one is the one that is dominant. While the small letter AA means that it is short. So we can say that 3 are tall, 1 is short. That's 3:1. So this is the difference between the genotypic and phenotypic ratio, which brings our answer to be option B. Number 23, which of the following is a decomposer? Now, what are decomposers? These are organisms that break down food into smaller parts or particles. A, grass. B, tiger. C, mushroom. D, deer. Now, we have herbivores. No, we have producers. According to the food chain, we have producers, we have the consumers, we have, in fact, those consumers, we now have the herbivores, we have the carnivores, we have the omnivores, then we now have the decomposers at the least of the food chain. Now these grasses, they are the producers. Why? Because they are the plants. Now tiger is a carnivorous animal, not a decomposer. It's a carnivore. Mushroom is a fungi, and a very important characteristic of fungi is that they are saprophytic. And what are saprophytes? They are decomposers. They are the ones that feed on dead and decaying matter. So you can say that this one is a decomposer. That's why you see mushrooms going on dead things, going on dead wood, dead things. Why deer is a herbivore because they feed on plants. Our answer is option C, mushroom. Number 24, the most abundant element in the human body by mass is what? A, carbon. B, hydrogen. C, oxygen. D, nitrogen. Now in the body, yes, we have carbon, we have hydrogen, we have oxygen, we have nitrogen, but which of these is the most abundant element in the human body by mass? Now by mass, the one that has the largest is oxygen. Oxygen contains almost 68% of the body. And why is that? Because now we breathe in oxygen, yes, and we take water. Now the human body is 70% of the human body is made up of water, and during this water we have H2O. So this oxygen that is inside the water is also accounted for. And sometimes we even eat carbohydrates, and they have CHO, this carbohydrate, so they have oxygen. We have proteins, they are CHO, then we have N, they still have the O. Even lipids, CHO, they still have the O. Not like that. So oxygen has the highest percentage by mass. Now carbon, yes, we are also made of carbon, but is not the highest. We can say we are 18% of carbon. Then we can say for nitrogen, we can say that we are maybe 13%. This one we can say hydrogen, we are 10%. But the highest is oxygen. Number 25, which cell organelle is known as the suicidal bag of the cell? The suicidal bag of the cell. A, mitochondrion. B, lysosome. C, Golgi body. D, ribosome. Now the mitochondrion is for respiration in the cell. Lysosome is an enzyme. Golgi bodies, they package and transport proteins and lipids. While ribosomes, it is for the synthesis of protein in the cell. Now what we have seen here, they're asking us that which one is known as the suicidal bag. Now in the cell, the organelle that is known as the suicidal bag is the lysosome. Why? Because this enzyme, when a cell in the body dies, This lysosome is the enzyme that will break down that cell. The lysosome that is inside that cell is what will now break it down. So that's why we call it, that's why it's called suicide, because the in that particular cell, the cell will know that, oh, it is dying. So that particular lysosome in that cell is what will now break it down so that it's not turned to a toxic, waste in the blood. It is that particular lysosome that will kill its own cell and make it broken down. So that's option B, the lysosome. Number 26, the oxygen released during photosynthesis comes from what? Comes from water. Why? It's during the light stage of photosynthesis, something is called, we split. Photolysis occurs. What's photolysis? That is the splitting of water. So after this water is being splitted, the oxygen that has been also be splitted from the water, from H2O, is released as oxygen at the end of photosynthesis. Number 27, which blood group is known as the universal recipient? Now, what does recipient mean? Recipient means the person that is accepting. We can now also say that which one are universal. If you don't want recipients, you can just say in your mind, just put as acceptors. So we have universal acceptors, we have universal donors. Now, during this blood, in this blood group, the ones that are known as the universal recipients or acceptors, these are the ones that have AB as their blood group. Why? Because they can accept from, O can give them blood, A can give them blood, B will give them blood, AB will also give them blood. They can accept from anybody, but they are stingy. Why? Because they only give back to just AB alone. They cannot give back to B, they cannot give back to A, they cannot give back to O. But the universal donors, these are the O. Now this O, they are different because they can give to anybody. They can give to A, they can give to O, they can give to B, they can give to AB, but they can only collect from themselves. So they are the universal donors. Number 28, the functional unit of the kidney is what? That is the nephron. When you see functional unit, they're asking us that the kidney is made up of what structures or what kind of particles, and these things are called the nephrons. For the options, these neurons is, the nervous system. The nervous system, the unit of the nervous system is the neurons. They're the ones that send electrical information. Now the alveolus, this one is the lungs. This one we can see that the unit of the lungs. While the sarcomere, we have seen that earlier, is the unit of the muscles. While the nephron is the unit of the kidney. Number 29, Mendel's law of segregation is based on what? A linkage, B, separation of allele during gamete formation, C, crossing over, and D, mutation. Now, when you are talking about Mendel's law of segregation, we're talking about, now Mendel postulated, now we just saw a question earlier that had to do with crossing. Now that crossing, we saw something like this, that you can cross AA and AA. Now, when we are crossing this, we do not cross this AA together. Instead, we took the alleles. Now, this AA together, they can be called, they are alleles. But when you take them one by one, they are alleles. Together like this, they are chromosomes, they are traits. But alone, they are alleles. So this Mendel is the one that postulated that when you are crossing, or when you are trying to determine a particular trait, the alleles are being independently crossed together. While this A and this A will not cross together. This A from this one will singly cross with this one singly. This one also will singly cross with this. This one will singly cross with this. This one will singly cross with this. And that looks like option B. Separation of alleles during gamete formation. So that means they will separate when gametes want to be formed. They will not be formed together. That's option B. Number 30, which hormone regulates blood sugar level? Now, the hormone that regulates blood sugar level is insulin. And how does insulin regulate body sugar level? Now, during digestion, assimilation, and absorption, something happens. For example, if you eat carbohydrates, it will be converted, or starch, it will be converted to glucose. Now, this glucose, it must not be found in your bloodstream. So the liver will convert it will be converted from glucose to glycogen and stored in the liver. Now what allows it to be converted to that glycogen is this insulin. Now, without this insulin, this glucose will not be converted to this glycogen, and that is what causes diabetes. So that's our answer is option B. So it's the one that regulates blood sugar level. Number 31, the process by which plants lose water through leaves is called transpiration. It is the upward loss of water from plants. Now, on number 32, which of the following is a vestigial organ in humans? Now, what is a vestigial organ? Now, this is an organ that through lack of use of this organ, it has become useless. So it means that if you remove this organ, it's not going to affect that particular organism. So out of these options, they were asking us that which one is not really needful in the human body? A, heart; B, appendix; C, liver; D, kidney. Now that is the appendix. Many people get their appendix removed, especially when it has gotten burst and it does not affect their way of life. So it is a vestigial organ. Number 33, the site of protein synthesis in the cell is A, nucleus; B, lysosome; C, ribosome; D, Golgi apparatus. Now, the nucleus, this is where the genetic information is stored in the cell. Lysosome, we've talked about it, that this is where the enzymes are formed. Ribosomes, this one is used for protein synthesis, while the Golgi apparatus is the one that will package proteins and lipids within the cells and transport it to wherever they are needed. So the answer is option C, ribosomes, because they are the ones that this is the site of protein synthesis in the cell. Number 34, the chromosome number of human gametes is what? Now, of a male gamete, the number is 23. Also, female gamete also 23. So individually, we can say that there are 23 number of chromosomes in human gametes. We are not adding it together. It's only when you have a zygote that you can now add 23 for 23. But this one, just leave it as this 23 gametes. Number 35, which part of the brain controls balance? A, the cerebrum. Now, the cerebrum, this one, it controls voluntary actions. And what are voluntary actions? These are actions that we do knowingly. For example, thinking. You think knowingly. Then we have the cerebellum. Cerebellum is for balance and movement. Then we have the medulla. The medulla oblongata, is for involuntary actions. Then we have the hypothalamus. This one is for body regulation of body temperature. So our answer here is option B, is cerebellum, because it's for balance and movement. Number 36, which gas is most abundant in the atmosphere? A, oxygen; B, carbon dioxide; C, nitrogen; D, hydrogen. Now, in the environment or in the atmosphere, oxygen is 21%. Carbon dioxide is less than 1%. Nitrogen is 78%. Hydrogen is also less than 1%. So our answer here is nitrogen because it contains 78% in the atmosphere. Number 37, the enzyme present in the saliva is what? Now in the mouth, we have an enzyme in the mouth, in the saliva, and this particular enzyme is used for the to digest, or we can say to convert starch to maltose, and the name of this enzyme is thialine. Thialine. That's option C. Number 38, which of the following is a communicable disease? What is a communicable disease? This is a disease that can be transferred from one person to another. A, diabetes. This one cannot, it is not communicable. B, cancer. Cancer is not communicable. Tuberculosis, yes. When someone that has tuberculosis, if you know go come in contact with those person's fluids, you can also have it. Hypertension too, it is not communicable. So the answer is option C, tuberculosis. Number 39, which vitamin is synthesized in the skin on exposure to sunlight? A, vitamin A, B, vitamin B12, C, vitamin C, D, vitamin D. Now the answer is vitamin D, because now sometimes you say that, oh, stay under the sun, stay in countries that don't even have sunlight, they tend to take vitamin D supplements. But in countries that have regular sunlight, don't need all those kind of vitamin D supplements. This is because they get this vitamin D naturally through the sunlight. That's option D. Number 40, the opening and the closing of the stomata is mainly regulated by what? A, guard cells, B, epidermal cells, C, the xylem, and D, the phloem. Now the answer here is the guard cells, because these guard cells, they are the ones that are responsible for the opening and the closing of the stomata. And what are stomata? These are microscopic openings that are found in the leaves of plants. And why are they here? They are here for the exchange of gases in and out of the plant. Now this brings us to the end of our class. If you have any question, don't hesitate to write your question in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you in our next class. Have a very nice day.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the video you just watched. To see more content as that, preparing you for your upcoming exam, make sure to smash the subscribe button and turn on notification. Also, remember that you can use the comment section to send us your questions or your inquiries, and we are happy to take them. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.